Liverpool is set to embark on a huge week, with a massive clash against Newcastle United in the race for the top four, quickly followed up by Real Madrid's trip to Anfield in the Champions League. Poor results in both could effectively end Liverpool's hopes of playing in Europe's elite competition next season. Win them both, however, and there would be a whole new complexion on the campaign, especially after a mood-lifting win in the Merseyside derby on Monday. Jurgen's chances of success in the two fixtures have been bolstered by a number of injury returns, and both featured from the bench in the derby, and will therefore definitely be available for selection, and now a hint has been dropped regarding Virgil van Dijk. The Dutchman was an unused substitute in that game, and has since been back in training. Real Madrid is contending with some injury fears of its own ahead of that game, but Carlo Ancelotti will also have some tough form-based selection calls to make. That is set to include a decision over a man Liverpool majorly coveted last summer. Here's the roundup of today's Liverpool news. Ancelotti admits Tchouaméni not optimal when tracing Liverpool's problems this season. Many are inclined to turn the clocks back to the summer. No new midfielder was signed, and so the troubles began. In fact, Liverpool is set to embark on something of a regret tour over the next couple of fixtures, with Bruno Guimaraes and particularly touted as potential targets in the summer, only for the duo to move to Newcastle and Real Madrid respectively. While the links to were only ever speculative, it appears that there was solid interest in Tchouaméni, but that Real Madrid won the race for his signature. However, despite a bright start, all is no longer well. Indeed, speculates that Tchouaméni may be dropped for the game with Liverpool in favour of Eduardo Camavinga. Ancelotti recently described him as still not optimal after the World Cup, much the same problem that has been ascribed to Jordan Henderson, some 9 years his senior. Says the very fact that Ancelotti is faced with a dilemma between two potentially generational midfielders underlines how much Liverpool needs to invest in the middle of the park, and how much it could have done with Tchouaméni last summer. That being said, the Frenchman's recent struggles show that there is never one player who can be a magic fix or a nailed-on success. Whatever the problems are at Anfield, it is clear that they run a little deeper than losing this particular transfer fight. Unusual Merseyside derby visit explained a select few people in the Anfield crowd boasting encyclopedic football memories might have looked around and seen a familiar face against Everton. There was an unlikely guest in the stands. Among the supporters was former defender José Fonte. And while his absence initially might have caused confusion, all has been revealed. Has relayed what Fonte has to say about his attendance at Anfield. I went there with Lucas, my little one. He had been asking me for a long time. Liverpool is his favorite club. His favorite player is, his father is not the favorite. It's a special match, there is always this special atmosphere. I had never been there as a supporter. So it was also a great experience for me, says, with the Southampton link. You would be forgiven for thinking that Fonte was at Anfield ahead of a potential transfer. Certainly it's one that would not have looked out of place on the Brendan Rodgers bingo card of the mid-2010s. But the Lille defender is now 39, with a little over 2 years on, not quite the rebuild Liverpool is after. In any case, it's nice he got to take in a game with his son, who has fine taste in centre-backs. Hint dropped. Virgil van Dijk was one of those to return to the matchday squad for Liverpool against Everton. But unlike he played no part in the match, other than getting involved in the mass scuffle that broke out towards the end. That led some to wonder whether the Dutchman would be able to feature from the start against Newcastle. But speaking in his, Klopp dropped a big hint that he would be able to throw in from the start. "I think so," was verdict. Yesterday he looked absolutely ready. "I think today he will look the same and then we make a decision." Says, "There's still a decision to be made, and if there is any doubt then Liverpool should err on the side of caution. Needs to be important for the whole run-in, not least against Real Madrid in the Champions League." But it sounds as though things are looking positive, and it would be huge boost to have such a key figure back in the side as soon as possible.